Welcome to a world of mystery and enchantment. Have you ever wondered if the mythical places and heroes that appear in stories and folklore actually existed? Well, you're about to find out. In today's video, you'll discover that many of these magical places and heroes are based on real locations and people from history. Join us on an exciting journey as we explore the truth behind some of the most famous mythical tales. Hello, and welcome to Amuse Mystery. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell for more amazing content. Number 6. Zealandia. Atlantis may be more well known than Zealandia, but the lost 8th continent is much easier to visit because it actually exists. Actually, Zealandia is about 1.35 million square miles, which is about the same size as Greenland. However, this natural wonder is not easily visible to the average tourist. That's because most of it is underwater, with only small parts sticking up and looking like a chain of islands connected at the base. These days, the easiest way for you to get to Zealandia is by going through New Zealand and Norfolk Island. Even though most of the place is underwater, it's still worth going there because New Zealand has some of the most beautiful and unusual scenery in the world. Zealandia's disappearance under the Pacific Ocean is a stark reminder of the ever-changing nature of our planet. It is an amazing place that has been lost in time, and its discovery has been a great source of excitement for many. Number 5. Mount Olympus. As the home of Zeus and other gods in ancient Greek mythology, Mount Olympus has long been the favorite place for armchair mythologists to visit. Even though the area is well known for its storybook roots, it is actually a paradise for ecologists because it is home to more than 1,500 plant species and more than 100 bird species. Also, there are more than 50 peaks on Olympus, but the highest one is Mythicus. It is more than 9,500 feet high and is a popular place for hikers, backpackers, and of course, fans of Greek mythology. In addition to being one of Greece's most beautiful natural areas, Mount Olympus was named the country's first national park in 1938 and a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 1981. No one can say for sure if the heavenly stories are true, but one thing is certain, Mount Olympus is a real place, and its beauty and mystery make it an unforgettable destination. Number 4. King Arthur. We've all heard the legends of King Arthur, the temporary savior of the Britons from the invading Anglo-Saxons. But was he a real person? Some historians believe it is entirely possible. Although Arthur does not appear in any contemporary historical sources, there is a substantial amount of evidence that a powerful war leader, possibly named Arthur, lived in the 5th or 6th centuries. For example, a 6th century engraving dedicated by a man named Artanu was discovered near Arthur's birthplace of Tintagel in Cornwall. Archaeologists discovered what could have been the real-life round table at his capital of Camelot, long thought to be in modern Colchester. And what if Arthur wasn't actually his given name? There is concrete evidence that Arthur was inspired by a contemporary British leader known as Riothemus, not a name but a title that translates to the High King. Number 3. Robin Hood. You may remember Robin Hood from a Disney movie where he was a man who stole from the rich and gave to the poor. The Nottingham looter fought against King John's taxes, but was he a real person? In medieval England, criminals were often called robhod or rabinhod, which may have been inspired by a real Robin Hood. Medieval historians also seem to think he was real. And one modern interpretation of evidence from the Middle Ages says that Robin Hood was a real-life thief named Roger Galbert, but sadly he was a bad kind of thief. Number 2. Kirinyaga. Mount Kenya, the second highest mountain in Africa, has been a holy place for many tribes like the Kikuyu, Embu, Amaru, and Maasai for a long time. The Kikuyu people think that this is where the god and goddess showed the first man, Gikuyu, and the first woman, Mumbi, where they would live at the foot of Kirinyaga. Ngai watched from his throne at the top as Gikuyu and Mumbi had 9 daughters and started to live in what is now Kenya. Today, Kirinyaga is kept alive not only in stories, but also as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and part of the Mythical National Park. From the base, people can see this former stratovolcano, or they can try to climb to the top of its glaciated 17,057-foot peak. Actually, don't bother with crampons and ice axes if you aren't a skilled mountain climber. Instead, walk to Point Lanana, which is a feat in and of itself. Number 1. Cincinnatus. The life of Roman general Cincinnatus in the 5th century BC was more of a myth than a true story, or was it? Cincinnatus was a military leader who only reluctantly took power and then gave it up. He was an inspiration to George Washington because of his humility and self-control. When a rival group called the Aequi threatened the Romans, they asked Cincinnatus to defend them and take charge. At the time, he was working on his small farm outside of the city. After supposedly defeating the enemy in just one day, Cincinnatus stayed in power just long enough to make sure Rome was safe. As soon as the crisis was over, he went home and went back to farming. It's amazing that the myths and legends we have heard all our lives may have been based on real people and places. Whether the stories are based on truth or are simply the product of folklore, they continue to fascinate us and remind us of the power of the human imagination. What are your thoughts on the video? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.